Welcome back to the Crack the Code podcast. I am super excited today because if you love to travel, you're going to want to hear what we're talking about today. And I'm here today with Leslie Ender. She has a degree in elementary education, special education, worked as a teacher for 12 years at Palo Alto. She founded the Full Potential Educational Consulting and Child Advocacy firm. And then in 2012, she relocated to Innsbruck, Austria with her family, which was a life-changing experience because she loves to travel and experience local culture. And she realized that most of her favorite European experiences were in places where no Americans are in sight. So she took that knowledge and created a business that focused on small group travel for women to share her Europe with them. She's recently completed her professional life and business coaching through IPEC, and she's now launching a new business that includes her coaching, curated small group travel, and inspirational retreats for women called Amble Rove. And I think that's such a cool name. So welcome, Leslie.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited. I know I have so many female friends and they're either married and their husbands don't want to travel, or they're on their own and looking to travel, but it can be a little intimidating to travel on your own. So I'm excited to talk to you more about your new business, but maybe we can just get a little history first of what prompted you there. Was there some, what was it about Innsbruck that really gave you that inspiration?
Well, living in Europe was a really amazing experience for me, really seeing how differently people live. There's so much that is the same because we're all in the Western world, but how they approach life, their food, their attitude about leisure time, about work. And in Europe, the family and friend connections are so important and so strong, and people tend to stay in one place. So it just broadened my views of the entire world, I think, living outside my own culture.
Yeah, I think that family culture is really important. And I think North American people are going to switch back to that a little bit more. We've been so caught up in everything being available 24/7, and you don't really take that time off. I remember when we were kids and everything was closed on Sundays. So Sunday was visiting friends and family day. We didn't stick
And
around at
that is
home.
still and that is still the case in Austria. By law, all businesses are closed on Sunday. There's usually one grocery store open in the city, one pharmacy, and of course, restaurants and cafes are open, but everything else is closed and people are out on the mountain with their family.
Yeah. And I think it's so important, especially these days, because we're so connected and we have that information bombarding us from every direction 24/7. We really need to step back and get grounded a little bit. And family and friends is a great way to do that. And so just out of curiosity, how did you end up over in Innsbruck for going from the teaching in the San Francisco area and all of a sudden you're now living in Austria?
Yes, I had my business was flourishing, and that particular business, I just told some friends that I was beginning, and uh, that was it. I just had client after client after client, and I was enjoying it. But then I am divorced now, but my husband, my former husband, had an opportunity to take a job in Innsbruck, Austria. And we decided it was a good thing to do for the family at that time. Had the support of our kids who were one was in college and one was just going away to college. And it just seemed like an exciting opportunity. So he took a position in Innsbruck, Austria, and I had no idea how much life would change for me while I was in Austria.
Yeah. And were you working while you guys were there, while he was working?
No, I was not working. Um, my husband was very traditional. My ex-husband was very traditional in many ways, and really didn't want me working. And so the types of that's why I created my own businesses, that I could work hours around being home and being present. So there was, but I would have loved to have worked in Austria,
Yeah.
but I didn't until 2017.
Yeah. So the first time you were there, and were you, is that when did you do more traveling when you first went there? And is that sort of what got the ball rolling for doing your small group thing?
Yes, Innsbruck is right smack in the middle of Europe. 8 countries border Austria, and so you're 2 to 4 hours away from Vienna, Zurich, Munich, um, uh, Liechtenstein, very close to Tuscany. I mean, it
Yeah.
goes, so there were so many opportunities. And yes, I decided, well, if I'm not going to be working right now, I'm going to travel. And then I have friends and family come and I show them around. And my sister, Lori, my younger sister, was my muse. I traveled with her and her husband. We planned an amazing itinerary for them. And she's like, you need to do this as a business. And I really was needing something for myself to do. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this.
Yeah. And it's nice going in a small group. My husband and I did a European tour many years ago through Kontiki, and we saw basically everything there is in 6 weeks. But when you're in a bigger group, you just don't get the same kind of experience as you get with a small group. And I think with women too, there's that kind of connection that you get with women. I think that's kind of really amazing. And so,
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I was just going to say, and how did that go from doing the retreats to getting into coaching? Because I know you just recently got your coaching certification.
Um, I really enjoyed bringing women together, and there was kind of a magic that happened that I didn't expect, because I feel like, in a way, travel is a form of mindfulness. That's why many of us desire to travel. We want to get away because we're using all of our senses, and that brings us into the present moment. And I saw this uh, connection and openness that women naturally do, but when they're traveling, the connection, yeah, was magic. And I saw we were connecting with the culture, connecting with each other, and I saw through my own experiences the potential to really reflect and have growth yourself. And how many people have traveled and come back with a brand new perspective on their own life? So I think it's a really great time for that type of reflection. And so I wanted to incorporate that into my travels with a more purposefully. And I decided to get my life coaching. And my whole goal, I want to create community for women. I want to empower women. And I want to encourage women to grow and to embrace their future, and to embrace the wisdom and the beauty that comes with aging, because we don't want the alternative, right? The alternative is that we're not here. So while we're here and we're moving forward, and uh, our bodies and our lives are changing, it can be a really beautiful thing, full of possibilities.
Yeah. And especially in this part of life. I mean, that's what all this podcast is all about, is, experiencing new things and finding out what other people are doing so that you can step out and do something that you want to do. Because Now we've raised our kids, and then we really have that time, and we have the wisdom of our life to, decide what's next for us, because we still have a lot of years left. So it's nice to do that. And we don't always spend the time in self-care, and travel is self-care to a degree.
Right.
That rediscovery.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so originally you did your group travel like in that area around Austria. Did you go to different places, or how did that work?
My first tour was in Austria, and it was in the Innsbruck area. And then we also did Salzburg. We did some of the small villages that are really focused on wellness, some amazing small family run spas, beautiful area. And then I'm so close to Italy that I really enjoy taking people to Tuscany. And now the next area I'm really looking at opening up is into France, and into taking women to Paris. And I don't know if it'll be 2023 or 2024, but I found an amazing venue, a woman who is single, adopted 2 children on her own, renovated her family castle that had been in her family for 24 generations.
Wow.
And she hosts, it's just beautiful. It's in the southwest of France, and there's amazing food culture there, and beauty and history. And so I'm looking forward to planning that tour.
Oh yeah, that sounds magical. It's like anywhere over there, Tuscany in France. I mean, there's so many amazing buildings, and yeah, if more people did those and opened up their homes for retreats and traveling, that would be awesome, because it is nice. I mean, it's nice to go over at least one time and see all the highlights, the main things, but then to get over there and see the real country and get to experience away from the touristy areas a little bit. I think that's special.
Mm-hmm. And that is what I particularly focus on is the sustainable travel, which basically means that we are staying in small family run inns and hotels and pensions, that we are eating in the small family run restaurants. And when I say small group, I'm talking 6 to 10 women. I'm not talking, a lot of times with the bus tours, it's 20 to 25 as a small group. Yeah. And we take public transport. We utilize the amazing transportation systems there. We will take a small shuttle if that is what we need to do, but we do a lot of walking. We do the public transit. We do the trains. And you're really experiencing the country as the locals do. And you get to talk to people who have been in the innkeeping or cheese making or restaurant business for generations in that particular space or spot. And it's something that we don't have here in the US, or very rare. I mean, yeah, very rarely we have that. And then it usually only, we're a young country.
Yeah.
It doesn't go back as many, in Europe, it can be 650 years. There's been a restaurant.
I know. Yeah, that's so amazing. Right. Oh, and typically how long are your travel groups for? Like,
my tours are usually about 10 days. And this is where the coaching comes in, is that some of my tours are just tours. They're all fun, but it's just focused on the fun, and other, and the women just naturally connect. That happens. It doesn't matter how diverse our group is. Magic happens. But other tours, it might focus on a topic. It might be on thriving in midlife. It might be on overcoming betrayal. It might be in rebuilding your life after losing a partner. And so then it is not a retreat, but it's really kind of travel with a purpose. And we are experiencing the countryside. We're still doing all those amazing things, but we may have a journal that we are taking time to reflect in, and we make time after breakfast to have a little bit of a interaction, coaching, intentions for the day. So it's a group of women that are coming around a topic that's important to them. And I think just the experience that you have of travel combined with this focus can be amazingly beneficial, growth filled, building community, just a lot of really wonderful things happening.
Yeah, I know, because I've been to a lot of, women's retreats and stuff locally, and you get that bubble that you're in while you're there. But I can only imagine it's on steroids when you're in a place traveling, especially with all that history. It's just so much richer. And so that's part
Right.
of the Amble and Rove. I love the name. How did you get the name for your new travel business?
Well, I decided to invest in a rebranding, and it was Keep It Real social media here in Michigan. They were very good, and what they do is it's an exhaustive process of them asking you questions and understanding what you do, looking at the words that you use over and over and the purpose of your business, and then based on their marketing knowledge and also it's their expertise, they come up with lists of different names. And so they came up with Amble and Rove. And when I shared it with trusted friends, that list almost unanimously everybody loved Amble and Rove. And then the tagline is connect, explore, discover for the travel. And for the coaching, it's going to be connect, reflect, discover. And I also do retreats, which are more in one spot. And in Tuscany in the fall of October 23, there's an amazing venue. It's a villa on a property that has been a vineyard and an olive grove for over 600 years. It has medieval Roman and Etruscan ruins. It's beautiful. The family just envelopes you in. And Lorraine, I practiced how to say her name because I wanted to give a shout out. Marsilia Miano, and she's in Magic of Menopause. If you haven't looked her up, we are coming together to do a retreat where we stay at the villa pretty much the entire time. We do have a day in Florence on either end, but we're going to have an amazing retreat where we do movement and we have keynote speakers, and we're going to really look at menopause, those women approaching menopause, and those women have gone through menopause from an empowering, beautiful, health-giving way. And because unfortunately, there's been silence around that topic in our culture. And I think a lot of it has to do with shame, that subtle message that somehow we don't have babies anymore and somehow we're of less value. So we really want to change that narrative. We're really excited about that.
That sounds amazing. So how long is that retreat going to be? Like, is that a week?
That is going to start on a Sunday and go through to a Saturday. And there'll be a day in Florence on each end. And then we'll be actually in the retreat will be 2 full days and kind of 2 half days.
Awesome.
And
yes.
So
That just sounds amazing. And so if people want to reach out and learn more about that particular retreat or other group traveling that you're doing, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Well, right now, I shared with you my Facebook page and my Instagram.
Okay.
And Amble and Rove is brand new, so I expect my new website to be online in January, and they can message me through Instagram. They can message me through Facebook, and that retreat will open up on my website probably sometime in January. But if they're
Awesome.
on those two social media platforms, they will know when it opens up. And what else was I going to say? Oh, right now the best way to reach me is my Gmail, which is leslie.ender@gmail.com. So
Okay.
Leslie, Leslae.ender, @gmail.com, until my new website is up and my new domain, and I'll have a new
Yeah.
email, and that will all be coming.
Awesome. Yes. Well, I'm sure it's all going to be great. And just for everybody, thank you so much, Leslie, for sharing all that with us today. Travel is such an amazing experience for everybody. And ladies, if that is something that you want to learn more about, feel free to reach out to Leslie. All of her contact information will be in the show notes. If you're thinking about doing some traveling and you want to go in a small group to Europe, reach out and get it done because it's never too late.